What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So we're going to start with our boy, Coach McDaniel. We need to figure out what the culture is going to be this upcoming year, right? I heard a quote from someone a long time ago that either you coach it or you allow it to happen, right? I don't know, some commentator on TV. And I thought it was an interesting quote because it seems that some teams have more of a buttoned up culture, some teams a little bit looser. And ultimately, it all comes down to the coach, right? When Bill Belichick was with the Patriots, you almost never heard anything get out, which is why when you heard things get out, you knew things were about to come to an end. For years, it was just like Patriot way. Everything's very stoic. We don't talk. On to Cincinnati, all that good stuff, right? And then teams like Pittsburgh, where it feels like there's always a little bit of chaos, like, oh, receiver diva here, running back diva here, quarterback diva there. There's a lot of stuff going on. On the Dolphins roster, we don't have a lot of extraneous stuff going on outside of Tyreek Hill, but it's been a lot of stuff with Tyreek, and ultimately that does come back to the coach. And if I asked you, as a Dolphins fan, what is the Dolphins culture? I don't think you would give an answer because I don't think we have an answer. I think the answer is our coach is he's kind of goofy, a little awkward. He's really smart. We're fast, and we try to score points. That's what the team is. But I don't know what the culture is, right? You think of a team like Baltimore, the culture is toughness. You think of a team like, I know, Detroit is mad aggressive, like all fourth downs, full steam ahead. The Dolphins have all this speed, all this talent. We're not super aggressive. We're not super physical. We are kind of a finesse team, but there are teams that are more finesse than we are. Like, what is the culture? That's the coach's main job. And when the coach doesn't want to take on that responsibility, like a Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy wasn't really a culture setter. Then typically it goes to your quarterback, right? Quarterback's the second leader aside from the coach, but Tua doesn't really talk. So so you don't have a culture setting at the coach, and then the quarterback is like more laid back. Tua's more vocal this past year, but his first few years, Tua was just basically mute. Like, hey, I'm trying my best. I want to play for my team. You know, football pride. Like it was very flat. Like if I said what's Tua's ethos and what's his culture, I would say Tua's he wants to be a warrior. That's kind of what he said about why he goes on the field after concussions, why he doesn't want to wear the cap. It's just, hey, if I die on the field, that's what I do. I'm here for my team. I love football. I want to compete. That's Tua's culture. Coach McDaniel, I don't know what it is, but I do think 4 years in, we probably should know. And so if you're going to rein in Tyreek, we're going to bring in a bunch of new players this year. The culture we've done hasn't gotten the results we want to get, which means that something needs to change. I think the team needs to be a little bit more physical. That's my perspective. I don't think that's Coach McDaniel's like natural position to like, hey, we're gonna be a real physical team. I think it would help us a lot because all the teams we want to beat are physical, right? So you can zig when they zag, I suppose, but I think that's what we need as a culture. But more than that, it's like accountability stuff. It's I don't know, people being more locked in. Miami's a very easy city to not be locked in, right? We know, we know you could be. It's a lot going on down there. Let's just say that, right? Lived there for a number of years. I know. So there's distractions. And again, when you're a Dolphins player, as good as the Heat have been for all those years, it's the Dolphins, right? People don't care about the Marlins, and the Panthers are over there tucked away. This is a Dolphin city. So I guess I can see why it's difficult to have them locked in, but I do think in year 4, we got to figure out what the culture is, establish the culture, and then build on it. Because right now, the culture feels flimsy, and I think the job security for Coach McDaniel is also flimsy because what is it you're saying we're building towards? Like when you go up to talk to the big bosses, like, hey, what's the culture? Hey, we're gonna get healthy and run it back. Is that's the culture? That doesn't seem like a scenario that is gonna get you longevity. If the culture is, hey, we're gonna find every nook and cranny of the offense, we're gonna pull out tricks you've never seen before. We're going for every fourth down. All right, I can get behind that. It may not work, but I can get behind it. So I think it's incumbent upon the coach to figure out what is the culture this year, set it, let's make it happen. Back to the draft. So we're always looking at picks outside of the first round because the first round is going to be, one of a couple picks. Some of it is just who's available. But also, we're kind of done with free agency at the moment. We're looking later in the draft. You know, I like having local guys who went to the come to the Dolphins because we just like local pride, man. You know the city, you know the distractions. It's easy for the family to be there. I think the kid will. I'm saying kid because they're like half my age. Will acclimate to the league. I think easier than if you go from the all the way to like Green Bay or something, right? So in the fourth round, there's a possibility that I'm saying offensive lineman because he played tackle, but I think he will have to play guard in the league. Jalen Rivers could be on the board. Now, Jalen is really big and really physical, really formidable. So he's really good at the point of attack, strong, good hands. What he isn't is fleet of foot, which is why I don't believe he'll be a good tackle because DNs are getting faster and faster. They're bending these corners. If you can't get out and set that edge, oof, you're going to be a turnstile at the tackle position. And the number one knock on him is, yeah, his feet are a little choppy and he's a big body and he kind of takes up space. I'm like, well, that's really good as a guard. That is not good on the outside. We need you to be nimble. We need you to be quick. We need you to set the position. We need you to get the quarterback safe. I don't believe he translates well to being an offensive tackle in the league. Also, I don't think we need an offensive tackle. I've been saying this for multiple episodes. Every draft I see has us getting a tackle. I don't get it. We need guards. We need someone big in the middle that can be next to the center, that can get up on those D tackles, hopefully get to the second level, create some run lanes. Let's make it happen. I think will be on the board, most likely. And I think the reason he's even a fourth round pick, I believe, is because no one believes he will be a high level starter at tackle. Right? He wanted to play tackle. So the fact that he's falling this far down tells me that the scouts are like, we don't see you as a tackle. Also, lots of injuries. Like 3 of his 4 years in college, he had injuries. I don't love injury-prone players, but the later we go in the draft, I'm more willing to take a chance on an injury-prone player. I don't want a first or second round pick being someone who's missed half their career. Unacceptable. 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, you're not projected to be necessarily a starter, but you're competing, maybe a rotational piece. If you've been injured before, then, we can see if you don't pan out, you're a 4th, 5th round pick. Who cares? But like we drafted Jalen Phillips in the 1st round, and Jalen Phillips has been hurt for most of his career. But he was hurt most of his career in college. So that's why he fell to us in the first place. If you think of it that way, it's like how many people were just always hurt in college and then they got to the pros and just stayed being hurt. That's sometimes it follows you, right? He's an injury-prone person. I think he'll be there. And if we decide to keep it local, if he's willing and not, making a fuss to try to play tackle, I think he could possibly fit in. But again, as a 4th round offensive lineman, what can you really expect? We'll see. Now we're back to my favorite game of the season, case or no case, right? So in this case or no case, it has the Dolphins trading for the Lions cornerback, Amik Robertson, who plays mostly in a slot. But last year, because Detroit had the worst injury luck I've ever seen on defense. I've never seen more people get hurt on the defense for a team that was still that good. They basically lost their whole defense. So he went from interior corner, like playing in a slot, to playing on the outside. He wasn't playing that position before. And we all saw on the biggest stage, I think it was Sunday night game maybe. He played Minnesota. He went one-on-one with Justin Jefferson for most of the game and was just like locking up Justin Jefferson to where Justin was getting frustrated. Now, Sam Darnold also was god-awful in that game. It did not help anything, so there may have been times when Justin Jefferson was open and Sam Darnold was like, nah, I'm about to be Sam Darnold right now. But when he wasn't doing that, Robertson was in his pocket, riding him, knocking passes down. He was frustrating him all game. But aside from that game, he actually was very good anytime he started outside and played the cornerback 2 position, essentially. He was good outside the whole year. He was great in the run game. They do all the pro football focus grades or whatever. He was graded in a top 6 of run defense, meaning he comes up and makes plays. If he comes up to make a tackle, more often than not, he made a tackle. He's only 5'9", $180. I don't know how he's that good in the run game. He might just be tenacious, but very good in the run game. And I like my corners to be able to run support. It's a big part of what makes Jalen Ramsey as great as he is that he's not just a cover corner. Jalen will come up and lay the wood. That's part of his job. I don't get corners who don't want to tackle. Again, I'll just push that to the side. Amik will come up and make tackles. He's very good in coverage. He didn't give up a lot of big pass plays. So What's the case? The Dolphins in this trade scenario would trade a 4th-round pick straight up for Amik Robertson. No other players have to be traded. No future compensation. Our 4th this year for him. That's the case. Now, of all the cases we've done, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? This to me is the most slam dunk. I think he could be our cornerback 2. You move Cater to the 3, Jalen at the 1, and I think you have a very strong secondary instantly. Doesn't mean we can't draft another corner because we only signed Cater for 1 year. So presumably next year we'll be in a situation where we need another corner. But if you tell me next year Jalen, Amik, and Cater is our main corners, I think we have a really good cover secondary. I think it's a great pickup. For the 4th-round pick, I don't think it's too much value. He's not due money this year, so he'll play this year under his current contract. And then if he balls out, okay, next year we can have the conversation, but then he will have 1.5 good years under his belt. He won't be asking for top market. He'll be asking for maybe mid-market money, maybe more or less what Kendall Fuller got when he came here. I think this is a slam dunk possibility. I love scrappy corners. He's undersized, but it doesn't change the way he plays in coverage. Very good ball skills, very good at tackling, very physical. I'm here for it. I'm a fan. I don't know if this is a possibility. I don't know if Detroit is shopping him or not. If they would give him up for a 4th-round pick, I will sign up for it right now. This is a slam dunk case. Hopefully it happens. Before we leave, guys, let me just say we crossed 1,000 subs. Listen, let's give it up for us right now, man. We did it. We were at 999 yesterday, and I woke up this morning, and it was still at 999. I was like, what happened? But eventually we crossed over. So we are officially at 1,000 subs, man. You guys made this happen. Thank you for all the support. We appreciate it. We're going to keep growing and changing, and, obviously we're bringing Dolphins content, but we're going to keep trying to grow the channel as much as we can. Thank you for all the support. We appreciate it. We're going to keep going. And we'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.